Welcome into the D-Event Center on the campus of Weber State University for the boys 6A state tournament quarterfinal action coming at you today here on live.KSL and DeseretNews.com. Our first game of the day. Boy, we got a good one. It's the American Fork Cavemen and the Copper Hills Grizzlies. Thank you for joining us, everyone. Dane Stewart, Dusty Litster here to bring you our quarterfinal matchup. And Dusty, really interesting matchup. We start by looking at American Fork, the designated road team in this one. But, man, they've been playing really well and had a great opening round.
They absolutely did. This is a team that's come together. Coach Ryan Cuff, in his first year at American Fork, has changed the culture of this team. And one player that he can thank for that is his son. Tanner Cuff has been absolutely spectacular. This team headlined by Isaac Johnson and Trey Stewart. But it is Tanner Cuff, in my opinion. I say it's a lot. He's a straw that stirs the drink, but he's the guy that shares the ball. He gets it to the right spots. It's not about him. It's about his teammates. And he's helped really facilitate what this team is. Copper Hills, the biggest question in this one, can Alfrey go? He's going to start. He hurt his foot. We saw it on Monday. Hopefully he's well enough to go. He could not finish that game on Monday. This senior, what could be his last game, this is one and done, who's had a spectacular career. I hope, Dane, he's well enough to be somewhat himself today.
Well, I mean, he's already limping a little bit, and you got to love the effort of the senior going, a multi-year starter. And you mentioned how to leave that game Monday early, only had 6 points. Detling had 17, Dubs had 14, Hutchings had 13. They're going to need support scoring because Trevin Alfreys, he comes down with a rebound. You can see him coming down the floor, favoring that ankle, and understandably so. And, man, my hat off to you, young man, for even trying this thing.
We had someone yesterday come talk to us. He goes, how sad is it? He said, with Alfrey in his foot, he's like, that's like a prized racehorse, throwing a shoe right before the race, and you just don't get to see his best stuff. And that's really my feeling too. You see Alfrey, who's had such a great career at Copper Hills, and it's a tough thing to twist your ankle because you never feel right, and it takes over a week and if not longer, to finally get some confidence on it. So hopefully he's able to go and play well enough today to be competitive.
We know it's definitely heavily taped as Stewart able to generate the steal, and this is Cuff. Moiaki with the follow and the first points of the ball game to Stewart. Man, second time I've done that. Trey.
3 and 4, and they both got similar hair. So I get you. So Trey's got the sleeve.
Well, we'll talk about Noah Moiaki a little bit as the day goes on, but he's just a freshman, so we'll have lots of time to talk about Noah Moiaki. As that entry pass disrupted by Hayden Franson, and I love Franson. I think he's a real X factor as he gets up the floor quickly and lays it in, and it's 4-0 just like that for American Fork, and a timeout taken 32nd from Copper Hills. It's 4-0 Cavemen.
Got to love the start for American Fork, and we talked to Coach Ryan Cup before this game and asked him about his team, and this was an interesting thing on Monday. On their way up here around 33rd South, blew a tire on their bus, and they had to, first they called maintenance, or get a new bus. It was about 6s. Well, they sent both. This should be faster. New bus got the guys here about beginning of the fourth quarter. And he said he thought maybe that helped them out because they only had 45 minutes to get here, get ready, get stretched and going. They had time to take it on in because a lot of these guys hadn't played in a state tournament venue.
Yeah.
And but he told us about an experience on Christmas. They went and played down in Mesa, and their flight was at 6 in the morning. They met at the school at 3:45, waiting for the bus. Well, the bus driver went to the airport for a pickup, not to the school, and they got a hold of parents at 4 in the morning to come help get the kids to the airport.
Three-pointer, and that's a big hit for Copper Hills as Tyler Bush able to hit the three. And we talk about that support scoring. Well, that's a good start for Copper Hills out of the timeout.
Yeah, that's a great Copper Hills, and Detling is someone I think Coach Blanchard wants to get the ball to as they get that to get the ball back.
Traveling there on Trey. So it'll go back to Copper Hills. And, one of the things about Coach Blanchard and the Copper Hills team, obviously we talked about the injury to Alfrey, but this is a team with a lot of scorers. And while Alfrey's been the centerpiece for years, it has that feeling like Coach Blanchard is always able to find a way to generate offense. And Coach Cuff before the game said he's as good as any of them. And they've won games this year without Trevin Alfrey. And so got to be very keyed in on this still being a contest for your American Fork.
He goes, I think his exact quote was, I'm watching film and they're getting better, and they're getting better. And Andrew Blanchard's been spectacular at Copper Hills.
Stolen away again, it's Trey Stewart. Able to generate the turnover is slowed up here. Here's Cuff, and Copper Hills back in that zone now as they'll go inside with Johnson. Good defense there by Alfrey, and Alfrey with the block.
The more Trevin has success in this game, the more likely he's going to play on that foot.
The more that foot is going to feel better and better, right?
Endorphins.
As a shot here from Trey is short, and Copper Hills coming up the floor. Bush will hand off here with Dakota Dubs. Mentioned he had a solid first-round game for Copper Hills. Alfrey going to try the three. There's that prize racehorse. Trevin Alfrey with the bucket and the three-pointer.
Ankle. What ankle, right? I love the guttiness from Trevin Alfrey. Not surprising. Not surprising at all.
By the way, that was behind the purple line. That's a three that would count here at Weber. As here's Johnson again. In with Stewart, and a foul here. This is going to go against Perry Detling. That'll be the first.
So a great start here for Copper Hills. Talked to Coach Blanchard and asked him, what have you got to do? He said, well, we got to find guys that can play. He's like, we got to get going. One player, he talked about with Stone. He's like, we really need Stone to be back to the guy at the beginning of the year. Yeah. He's got a little bit of a lull here. And I told him, I was like, pretty good timing. Get back to the mean from where he shot beginning of the year, where he said, that lull now, that peak's coming. And he kind of smiled. I'm hoping that's today.
Boy, it would certainly help out the chances for Copper Hills trying to pull off, I think, what many would deem an upset. Again, the only reason why Copper Hills in that white uniform is because they're on the top end of the bracket. These are two region champion in Copper Hills. So I got that wrong. Region champion in Copper Hills. AF did get swept by PG. And but, one of the things, even talking with Coach Blanchard, it was, hey, Region 4, who cares? Let's just go play. And he was very, very interested in having an opportunity at his region, being able to represent, or his team represent his region against what many have called the best region in the state.
And we're both there. And felt very vindicated that Region 3, 1 and 2 knocked off the 3 and 4s from Region 4. And said, look, the top of our region just like their region, the bottom two of our region just like theirs. We each lost to 1s and 2s.
So interesting, because we've talked about this, Dusty, in this stall, right? And you got the Copper Hill section who's cheering, and you got the AF section who's not very happy. And the interesting thing is you may not like the stall. Well, then go pressure it.
Yeah. Well,
go pressure it.
I love Coach Cup. Just said, whatever.
Yeah. He's like, no.
If you want to do it, do it.
Yep.
And I have too much respect for Coach Blanchard to wax the way I normally do. And that's not to say I don't respect other coaches when I bring that up. But he and I had also talked about it before the game started. He said, we're going to spread them out. He said, I'm going to make them come get us. And it wasn't that we're not going to shoot. He's wanted this. He wants to create passing lanes and easy buckets at the rim.
Well, it's one of those things, and I've talked about it. You see AF and you're like, oh, yeah, that's a good-sized team. No, when you're on the floor, they are long at every position. And there's another made three. Boy, a big one made by Detling, and he starts off the game today like he did on Monday. Stewart on a drive. Athletic take, won't go down, and the rebound, boy, gets to Johnson somehow and able to crawl it in.
Isaac Johnson just kept at that thing, and I didn't know who Coach Blanchard was. He's pretty fiery.
Yeah.
Competitive enough that he hit. He made. You asked him how many threes, and he hurried and looked at one of his managers. How many was it? It was six of them. And that was in a shirt and tie. He's like, I should go trade Trevin, and I'll swap him, and I'll go play today.
I got here just as he was shooting. I saw him make two, and he missed the third. And I'm like, I know he made more than two, so I'm going to ask him. And nice take there by Dakota Dubs. And tell you what, Copper Hills right now, they do not look short-handed, Dusty. This looks like a fired up and focused Copper Hills group.
PA had Hoffman, not Dubs, and I think.
Oh, that's probably true.
Which would make sense as Cuff gets that one to bounce home as Hoffman, older brother, wore number 2 for Coach Blanchard as well. We'll double check that just to make sure. Dan Barney's on the money.
I'm going to go with PA because my roster does not come from the team. I mean, it does come from the team, but it comes off of websites, whereas usually Dan Barney's good enough to go check with teams before the game.
I've known Dan for years. The one thing I know about Dan does not get names wrong. Not very often, anyway.
The tough thing is when you look at my roster, they're both listed as the same size, and so very easily could be Hoffman. I'll make that change. We'll go with old Dan Barney here.
And 5-second, closely guarded, called there. And that's the thing, when you go a little bit of this spread out, and I'm going to call it stall, but spread out. that you run the risk. And we got multiple sources saying that, so I can text him just to make sure.
That foul called on Bush, I believe. Yes, it was. Second team foul on Copper Hills. Blocked from behind. Tyler Bush able to come over the top. Like a great wrestler. Arm wrestler, that is.
Over the top, absolutely. He's like a...
Oh, Allfrey got the block, but a blocking foul going to be called here on Bush, and that'll be the second on Tyler.
And as we're saying, Trevin got that block early. It's the 3, and all of a sudden you feel a little more limber. All of a sudden that burn and that ankle isn't pain. It's getting a little looser. Your mind starts to change.
So first free throw for Trey is good. And the second one able to roll in for Trey. He's got 5 now.
Well, what a fun first quarter. We got getting nervous when the best player isn't going to go. And
count the bucket. The foul on Cuff. And Tyler Bush with a nice take. He's got 5 now to the line for a 3-point play.
I love it. Coach Blanchard's very, very competitive. We talked about it earlier. And he really, even he and I were talking about Trevin going, he's like, well, we'll see. He said, we're not sure. And I was like, if he doesn't go, and it wasn't like, well, we're going to do our best. It was, and if he doesn't go, like, I got guys, we're going to run our stuff. We're going to do our thing. And Bush is part of that and able to get in the cup to get the block call on him and able to get the bucket.
The paint kicked out. 3-point shot on the way. No good. The rebound to Copper Hills. A 3-pointer good for Detling. 17-11. Copper Hills with the lead here. Over with Stewart.
How about Detling? That was a name I brought up to Coach during our talk with Coach Blanchard. I said, how good did it feel to see Detling? He goes, yeah, he goes. But then he mentioned a couple other guys he needed to get going too, but he was very pleased and impressed with what Detling's done because he felt it could carry over to today's game.
What has carried over? Detling with a pair of 3s. Bush with 6 as well. Cuff going to try his try at a 3. No good. The putback is strong, and the quarter comes to a close. A lot of folks maybe didn't think this would be a great game. It is. Copper Hills leading American Fork 17-11 at the end of the first.
Jimmy Johns, proud supporter of the Utah High School Activities Association. Stop by your nearest Jimmy Johns location today to try their new 9-grain wheat salad, made with the best of the best ingredients and baked fresh every day in store. Now available at a Jimmy Johns near you. Wheat yeah, free yeah, Jimmy Johns. Watch a replay of today's game for free online at live.ksl.com. Second quarter possession arrow to Copper Hills.
Ball inbounded, started the second quarter. Copper Hills basketball. The Grizzlies, Dusty, boy, they have looked really solid here in the first quarter against American Fork.
The great equalizer and advantage comes from the 3-point line.
And from the young man that Coach Blanchard said we would love to get a little more out of him, and it was Hutchings with the 3.
What I love right now is the focus, the focus and intensity coming from Copper Hills. The focus and intensity out of Copper Hills right now is what's getting, this 9-point lead.
Another foul here. And it'll be the 14th foul. So as good as Copper Hills has played, the fouls have been adding up a little bit for them as Stewart misses another free throw. And Dusty, one of the things that we've talked about a little bit yesterday primarily was this is the end that has appeared as though it's the easier end to shoot on.
Well, it's funny, we asked Coach Blanchard about that, and he didn't know. He didn't buy into my thing. I started telling him about it, and I thought his answer was pretty funny. Go tell it to AF, please. Like we let them know that it's a little tougher to shoot on that end.
By the way, we didn't. I don't want you to think we have favorites, but tell you what, Stone Hutchings isn't buying into the theory as he's got 2 threes here at the start of the second, and it's an 11-point lead for Copper Hills.
Hutchings and Detling got it going from the outside, and what we talked about yesterday, those threes will not continue to fall at a clip higher than your normal, typically. You better keep scoring at the rim, and if you're Copper Hills, build the lead up as big as you can for when the run comes from AF that you're going to have enough in the tank to push back against them.
Stewart pressuring again. Boy, he had a couple steals back in that first quarter. Corner three. Oh, that looked good too. Just a little strong that time from Detling. And it's another turnover.
Well, nice job at the defensive end there from Copper Hills. And again, Coach Blanchard can say, all right, come get us. And really what he wants to do with spreading this out is right here you get isolation, and nice take and finish by Hoffman. And then Cuff comes right back, can't get it to go. Detling with the board. Really big for AF, 1, to withstand what's going on for Copper Hills, but Copper Hills, 2, keep doing what they're doing. They are thwarting any type of advance from AF.
This foul on the floor. Boy, Copper Hills, the entire bench wanted that shot to count, but they're not going to get it. As Trey will pick up the personal, his first.
Yeah, Coach Blanchard saying, look, he got him as his arm is going up. And it's tough, right? Because if you're not going any continuation, it's hard to give it any at all. Stone moving without the ball. Dan, I'm so impressed with what Copper Hills is doing right now.
No kidding, huh? I'll admit, I was a little concerned about how good they would be without Allfrey. But, man, I'll tell you this. Trevin Allfrey as well, he is doing a lot of great work on the defensive end. Because even Johnson, they're struggling to get the ball into him and pushing everything on the outside right now for American Fork.
Well, let's be honest, the best thing to do for Trev is put him in the middle of the key and say, big man, you don't have to move that much.
Yep. And he's done a great job of holding down the interior. As a foul here going to be called on Kylan Shorts. And that'll be the second personal on Kylan.
There's something about playing the underdog, playing no one believes in us, and we've learned over the years, very few played as well as Andrew Blanchard.
Cuff to inbound here, 5:03 left. The lead up to 13. Cuff gonna try the three. Too strong in the corner. Tyler Bush. And hey, if you're Copper Hills, no rush right now. I mean, I want to be in my offense. But might see a lot of patience here from the Grizzlies. In the paint, contact, count the bucket and the foul as Tyler Bush able to draw the personal on, thought it was Johnson, but gonna go on Stewart. Nope. McKay Smith. My goodness.
Well, this first half has gone every way Coach Blanchard wanted, and let's say this, against everything that Coach Cuff wanted. Coach Blanchard told us, I want to force them to shoot. I want them to shoot from the outside. Coach Cuff, we need our guys to take the ball inside. We cannot try to live from the three-point line.
Trevin with the contest and then rips it away from Trey.
What I love about Trevin Alfrey's mentality right now is I think he's accepted where he is with his foot. But he's going to own every piece of wood that he's standing on.
Yep.
If I got to stand here in the middle, and this is where I got to protect what we're doing, then this is what I'm going to do at the best of my ability, and he's done that here in the first half.
His range may be closed down, but by golly, he's still going to protect what he can cover. And that shot no good. Johnson with the rebound, and AF pushing it up the floor. Here comes Cuff through traffic, and a blocking foul here going to be called. This will go against Hoffman, I believe. Yes.
So right now, for AF, who's going to be the one that's going to step up and get some shots? Because Johnson comes off on his normal time, make sure he has enough left. But who's the one that's going to step up and go?
Well, Moiaki going to try it. There's one. Noah Moiaki with his first bucket of the ball game.
We saw yesterday in the 5A tournament, and that's why I brought that up. Teams build a lead, another one, and they just keep coming. And it's the ones that just keep banging on that door. Sooner or later, it's going to open up.
And one. Trey Stewart late to the spot, the second personal on Trey, and once again, it is Kyle Hoffman taking the reins, count the bucket, and a chance at the line.
Away from restricted area jokes I normally make, he was too far underneath the hoop to try to get that call. If they had called that a charge, Dane, even out if we were at a regular gym, I'd have a hard time because you're not giving that offensive player anywhere to go at that point. And Trey was a little late as well. I thought it was a good call.
Free throw no good.
Plus, Trey, get outside the restricted area, bud. You learn that for next year.
Yeah. Franson from the corner skips across, and Alfrey once again. Boy, this is not how AF looked in that first round against Layton, Dusty.
No, and part of it is Layton didn't ever find this kind of offensive rhythm. That first half they kind of did, but AF was able to get into their stuff. Coach Blanchard told me, he said, look, we'll give up a little bit of offensive rebound to get back in transition.
That shot blocked. McKay Smith on the run ahead with Trey. Has Cuff coming with him. Trey around, and Trey with a nice finish.
And then you see the skill, right?
Yep.
And you see why he talked about it. Hey, we'll give up offensive rebounds to get back. And what he's getting right now is not just offensive rebounds. They're getting shots at the rim, which allows you to get back because they're not crashing on these. Look at this. Nobody's down there in red jerseys.
Yeah. Fortunate the last two takes, really, because that paint has been wide open. As Cuff coming up and won't go, he does get fouled, and Cuff will head to the line here. Foul here going to go on Hutchings, the first personal. So the straw at the line here for American Fork. Able to make the first.
You know, we asked Coach Cuff, and I like to do this. I thought he played for his dad. He corrected me that his dad quit. Said he wasn't coachable, and he didn't coach him in high school. But asked him, how good is it for your son? He goes, well, he does all the little things. And then I asked him, what kind of relationship your wife's hitting you, saying, quit being so mean. He goes, I'm actually really calm at home. You might not believe me. That was his parting shot with us as he walked away. I'm actually really calm at home.
The great was the classifier, at home.
At home. Yeah. He didn't answer me if she thinks he coaches him too hard.
Well, I'll tell you this. There's a line when it comes to coaching, right? But I think most coaches in this state do a pretty good job of staying on the right side of the line, and hard coaching usually is just going to make you better. As Hoffman once again on a take. Copper Hills continue to find success in the paint.
Hey, look, when your coach stops going after you, it means they gave up on you.
Yep.
That's when you should be worried. When your coach stops getting on you, bringing up little things and saying, hey, you got to fix this, got to fix this. The moment they stop that, young ones that are listening, more than likely it means they gave up. Like, I can't get through to him. It's not. I'm just speaking to a cement wall, and I'm not getting through.
Smith doing his best, forces the termination. Now Alfrey. Franson coming up on him. What bad ankle. Trevin Alfrey Driving the lane, a left-handed. Is Cuff coming down the other way, and an offensive foul? Yes, it is. Foul on Tanner Cuff, but I'll tell you what, the price was paid underneath. I'm still trying to get a number. Is that Hoffman?
I think it is Hoffman. Yeah, it is. Cup, I tell you what made me nervous. I mean, I hope Hoffman's okay, and I think he will be. As Alfred gets a block, he goes to LeBron, gets the backboard, and I was afraid he came down on his foot a little awkward there. But I think it's because he was trying to make sure he landed on his left foot.
It is Hoffman, and he gets a well-deserved ovation from the bench as he comes off. Looked like there was some blood there.
But Dane, I can't say it enough. When you get a team and a coach that are bought in on the same plan, and you see the intensity that you're seeing from Copper Hills, they're into every single possession right now. If you look at the two benches, Copper Hills is bought into every single possession, and AF is a little ho-hum right now. They're just kind of melancholy, where Copper Hills, I mean, it is live and die every time that ball leaves someone's hand.
You know, one of the things that I just think about, we talk a lot about movie quotes, right? And how about the longest yard? The running back goes out, you busted your knee for us, we'll bust our butts for you. And right now, that's the sense that I get from Copper Hills. Like, look, we know Trevin isn't 100%, but you know what? Like, that dude has given us everything for years, and we're going to rally around him and do everything we can to try to get to the semifinal. That's how they're playing right now. 1:01 left and a timeout taken here by Copper Hills.
Well, we want to thank our sponsors. As always, Dane and I are always brought to you by Tosh Orthopedic Specialty Hospital. But this week, our scoreboard is brought to you by Heinemann & Associates, a full-service law firm that is dedicated to winning for its clients. No matter if you need help with drafting a will, to take care of your estate planning, protecting your business, or a personal injury, any need you have with the law, Heinemann & Associates are there for you, and they want to win. Give them a call at 801-472-7742. Again, 801-472-7742. And we want to thank Justin Heidemann for his support of Deseret News Rewind and our coverage this week of the 5A and 6A basketball tournaments.
Really interesting. 1:01 left here in the first half. The winner of this advances to the semis. They'll play the winner of Davis and Kearns. Of course, Copper Hills got swept by Davis this year, actually. Played them twice in the Elite Eight and in the regular season. Lost both those two games. Has not played, or they did play Kearns as well. But they beat Kearns 56-50. But they've got to get through American Fork first. And tell you what, the way this first half has gone, Coach Blanchard going to feel pretty good heading into the locker room here. As Shorts receives it back. AF trying to up the pressure. Johnson back on the floor, Cuff on the bench here for the Cavemen.
Well, it's important here to stand your ground here for the Caveman. No buckets. You feel like Copper Hills can get the final shot of the half. I'm interested to see if Coach Cuff ever goes for starts to trap here at the end, maybe get a turnover, and see if you get the bucket before the end of the half rather than letting Copper Hills get the final shot.
Here's the other thing to watch for. Trevin Alfrey in the corner, so pulling Johnson out. The moment you drive and Johnson pulls in, you get another wide open Alfrey three.
And I'll tell you what, if I was Coach Cuff, I'd live with it. I know he hit the one earlier.
Instead, it will come from Hutchings. Won't go. Alfrey an offensive rebound. The putback too strong, and the first half comes to a close. Copper Hills came out motivated. 35-23, they laid American Fork at the break. You're watching the quarterfinals of the 6A Boys State Tournament on live.ksl and deseretnews.com.
That's the Copper Hills Pep Band. Ladies and gentlemen, for your halftime entertainment, we have the American Fork Caveman Drill Team performing a hip-hop routine called Basketball.
first 2 days are my favorite days.
They really are fun.
Monday wasn't great.
Yeah, Monday was
Awesome. Like yesterday was awesome.
Monday was only crazy because they lost the state tournament and kind of keep going.
Yeah.
Yesterday, after that, we got done with that first game, I was like, that just puts you in a good mood. The way that game went, even at halftime yesterday, it was like, get into the half-court shot or the stuff was inside half-court. It's like, oh my gosh, we have basketball. Like, it exists.
So the first thing is like,
That 5A tournament for this one we thought, except for Olympics, is so much better than anybody else on the floor. Now, granted, Woods Cross has that great atmosphere. Only one team allowed to go.
I watched that whole Jordan game. I didn't necessarily think Jordan played all that bad. I just thought Nickel Mountain was shooting lights out.
I don't think about it. Well,
Like,
we should have won it.
had like
Yeah,
15 chances to win.
we should have won regulation.
Nobody else played. Nobody else was playing like shit. That's what happened last year. They came in super hot, then got beat by East because they just never showed any intensity.
I am dead serious. So I just think Alpha being hurt actually helps Cotton because it's opened up the middle.
Well, when you look, AF is only part of it.
But that's why, because Alpha's on the outside. And so, like, that's where Johnson goes, the lane's wide open. Like,
Thank you to the K-Vets.
in this match.
Ladies and gentlemen, each year the Utah High School Activities Association has sponsored an academic all-state team to recognize those young men who have excelled in the classroom as well as in competitions. The Deseret News has joined with the UHSAA as title sponsor for this prestigious award. To view this year's academic all-state winners, please visit UHSAA.org. Don't forget to visit the shirt stop to pick up your state hoodies, t-shirts, and hats. The shirt stop creates and designs the highest quality custom
Feels like
apparel.
I should have a question here.
If your team or company is looking for retail quality screen printing, embroidery, or promotional products at a killer price, be sure to reach out to the folks at the shirt stop today.
So, Vince, come look at this.
Stats and standings are available at maxpress.com, the official stats partner of UHSAA. The National Federation of High School Sports wants to know your reason for participating. High school activities allow you to connect to yourself, your community, and your future. Find your place, find yourself, find your reason why. Hashtag my reason why.
Start of the second half here of our first quarterfinal of the day in the 6A state tournament. Copper Hills 35-23 over American Fork. And Dusty, American Fork, a lot of people, I know I picked them to win a state championship, but a lot of people thought that they were a contender to make it to that championship game. What have they got to do differently here in this second half, trailing by 12?
Well, for one, they got to get in their stuff and they got to stay in it. And there you go. That was what I was saying. They got to hit a three. If you're going to keep shooting them, you've got to hit them. And on the other end, defensively, they've got to figure their stuff out. Because Coach Blanchard told us, I'm going to spread them out and make them go. Look, they're going to go out of the zone. They're making them go man-to-man. But Coach Blanchard said, I'm going to spread them out and make them come get us. And it worked.
It certainly did as Johnson comes over on the help, but can't get there in time. And once again, it's Stone Hutchins. And, man, Coach Blanchard, the pregame talk worked because Stone now at 10.
And that was kind of the feeling, right? When you got a player, you know he's good. He showed it. He's gone through a lull. You know that peak's going to come back.
Here's Cuff. Tries to float it up short. And a foul here on Alfrey as that arm is held down by, or the arm of Johnson was held down. Alfrey picks up his first.
And right now for AF, there's not an 11-point shot. So they've got to get into their stuff and stay in it.
Trey going to try the three. No good. And one of the things that we talked about with Coach Cuff before the game, Dusty, was, that late in game, didn't shoot a lot of threes, took more shots inside, asked him about that, said, yeah, that's when we're better. And you mentioned if you're going to take threes, you got to hit them. They've settled for a lot of outside shots in this game.
What he told us, he said, in the PG games, we shot over 20 three-pointers.
Yeah.
He said, we can't do that here. And I was like, right, you can't have 6 of 11 possessions out of 3. He said, yes, we've had 2 possessions and 2 threes.
Yeah.
You split them. Oh, nice move by Bush.
To the corner, Alfrey, a 3. Short, and Alfrey came down. Boy, and he maybe tripped Johnson. Johnson on the floor hard. Alfrey came down on that ankle. And I couldn't quite tell if that was an advertent trip or not, but Johnson went to the floor hard, and he looks to be okay. Alfrey just making it back down.
Yeah, I think Coach Cuff's asking the same thing, and Alfrey could have just been frustrated too. I think it could have been a lot of timing things. Falls down because that foot's hurting him right now. He got it. And I think it could have just been a frustration thing.
Well, here's the other thing. I mean, when you tweak an ankle, what's the first thing you do? You grab it, right? Well, you lift the leg.
Yeah.
So if he tweaks that ankle and he's going to grab it and Johnson's trying to run over him, you can see how that could create a mix-up as points for – no, excuse me.
He missed
it.
Yeah, Francis shot. That's there. You got to use the backboard on that. God created the backboard. You got to use it. But right now for AF, you better be able to guard man-to-man because that's exactly what Copper Hills is going to force you to do.
And with the ability of the guards to penetrate the paint, got to stay in front of them, and right there, Cuff gets beat. Going to lead to a 3 here from Detling. Won't go. The tip out of play, and it'll stay here. They say out off of Johnson, and then the side official will come in and overturn that.
The fourth official thought the same thing. 2 things. If I'm Coach Cuff and the anime, look, if they're going to hit threes, they're going to hit threes. We cannot give up easy layups at the rim, and they've started to come off a little bit on that help D, and there's a lid on this end of the floor.
Falls right to France, and his shot won't go. Johnson, and the block from behind of Alfrey going to generate a whistle here. Second on Trevin.
And a lot of that is the optics. Behind Johnson, and he come with that swing, and I think he might have got it cleanly, but it could have just been the optics that puts Johnson in the line.
And that's the tough thing. I mean, talking with Coach Cutt about, those threes, if you're the team, you're saying, but we aren't hitting lay-ins either. So, points are tough to come by right now for American Fork, and just where your best percentages. Johnson here at the line for 2 makes the first.
Well, when you're confident as well, and these AF kids have played really, really well, and you're confident, you want momentum shots. And so part of momentum is you hit the 3, you're going to grab a ton of momentum out of that.
Cuff comes off the floor here as Smith back on the floor for American Fork.
Great cut.
Boy, and even a hold there on the play as well as that cut on the baseline, and the whistle here going to come on Moiaki. That'll be the first on the freshman.
I mean, it's just like anything else. You get this man-to-man coverage, you spread them out, get a nice move, a nice drive to the hole, and you get that hard cuddle on the baseline. That was a beautiful pass, too. And the Grizzlies doing so many good things here today.
A little fade away and the roll for Stone Hutchings again.
Well, Stone now with 12 points, and talk about a rebound game for him. And I think the clock didn't start. They're going to 5:24.
I'll take it down to 5:20. And that's where we'll inbound here. Johnson, high post. Stewart. That zone, a long three for Johnson won't go, and Trevin Allfree able to clear it.
How do you beat the 2-3 zone, Dane? Side to side, you got to penetrate it. Johnson catches that ball at the free throw line and just gives right back, going back to the three-point line.
Kick out, Allfree. Nice patience here by Bush in the paint, and won't go, but a foul on the play will be called on Stewart, number 3 on Trey.
Coach Cuff doesn't like the call. A nice take there by Bush. First of all, nice job by Allfree. Every once in a while, you got to show him you can do something. Take it to the lane, send it out, and let Bush go to work.
You know, and I mean, going back to that last AF possession, we already talked about you don't want to fall in love with the three. Well, you don't want to take 26-foot threes either. I mean, Johnson was pretty far back on that one.
Path of least resistance, and that's exactly what Copper Hills is going to give him.
1 of 2 on the trip for Bush. The lead pushed back up to 12.
Can you defeat the 2-3 zone, side-to-side movement, and penetrating it?
Johnson squares up, count the bucket and the foul, and the third now on Trevin Allfree. Well, one of the things we learned yesterday, I mean, he went out in the first half. Not a lot of depth underneath for Copper Hills in this ball game. They've got a young sophomore, but he's not cleared to go either. He was hurt early in the year. And Allfree going to stay on here with this third as Johnson makes good on the trip. 3-point play for Isaac Johnson.
And if I'm Coach Blanchard, I completely agree with him. He's just going to leave him on the floor. Look, I wasn't planning on him playing.
Right.
I'm going to use him for as long as I got him.
Roll
if you
it.
let him sit, that is not a good thing.
Going to get worse, especially where he just tweaked it a couple minutes ago, right?
Yeah.
And that's one of the tough things about those ankle injuries is, man, the only way to really let it heal is to stay off it. Well, you don't have that luxury in the state tournament. Is Johnson able to sky for the rebound for American Fork and Cuff on the run? Smith in the corner, France in a 3. Short.
And that's what you got to do to Copper Hills. Everything's going the way Coach Blanchard wants it. They run the ball up the floor, get the corner 3, you get them 1 and done, and then we're going to walk it up the floor.
Around the screen. Able to find a rolling Hutchings, but that's out of play and out off Copper Hills. Right in front of the bench, they all disagreed.
Coach Blanchard has a question on that one. But the official's right there.
Smith, transition 3, hits it. McKay Smith threw in the inbound. He was the last man down the floor, not picked up. And an uncontested 3, and we're within 2 possessions here for American Fork.
Just got to keep grinding. And you're American Fork. You just keep grinding through this, keep grinding through it. Copper Hills, sooner or later, all those plays you're making in the first half are going to possibly be there, but a lot more pressure in 5 seconds.
Wow. And guess who? It was Tanner Cuff, the straw, Dusty, staying stride for stride. A lot of moves to try to shake him. Cuff never got outside of that perimeter, and great job drawing the 5-second call.
And that's the second time, too. And he's got Bush twice on that. And now a big, big possession in this ball game. 3 makes it a 1-possession game, but AF doesn't need a 3.
Smith again. What looked identical as it was that out off of American Fork.
You know what I talked about earlier, just that momentum. You want that momentum so bad. And he hit the first one, it's like, yeah, I'm definitely getting the second one.
Yeah. You know, it's one of those things where even in NBA Jam, it took 3 shots to get on fire, right? Very, very hard to do it in 2. But in fairness, it was an open look.
Yep.
And American Fork, when you have open looks, I probably would take them.
What was it that Coach Blanchard told us? Hey, if I'm shooting from the tunnels, it's like a layup.
Cuff able to steal that backdoor pass, and then a foul here at half court. Cuff arguing that was not on the shot. Sorry, Tanner. Love his game, but nope. Short's going to pick up his third.
If you don't ask, they can't say yes. That's the first lesson I learned in life.
All they can do is say no, right?
Yep. If you don't ask, they can't say yes. That goes for dates, sales, everything.
Johnson had that knocked away. But got to be stronger with the ball there.
Well, just spacing. Spacing's the thing there. If the 2-3 zone's just below the key, his high post has got to be below the free throw line to keep the guards out of there.
Stolen, ahead for Johnson. He missed that.
Where's the tee? I don't understand the technical foul there. Where's the tee? This is where football is a little better, where we get an explanation. If you miss the dunk and the ball goes off your foot and out of bounds, help us understand what that is.
Well, but they credited him the points.
Okay, so
I thought he missed it. Did that ball go through? I thought he missed it.
I'm still trying to understand what the technical. If someone can hit us up, if we got an official watching, if you can help us understand the technical foul on that, I won't say I understand it. It's wrong. I just want to understand why.
Okay, did you see the ball go through the rim?
I wasn't sure if he made it or not. I thought he did.
Okay.
I wasn't 100% sure, but even if he made it, if he kicks the ball after it goes through, I don't understand why it's a technical. If it's hanging on the rim, okay, but that wasn't, and that's out of bounds. I still just don't understand what just happened.
You and me both, man. What just happened was Copper Hills threw it away.
Yeah,
But what led up to the technical, anyone's guess.
Nice play by Moyaki, the young freshman. 5 points, and Moyaki, that big three in the first half, was big at the moment, and then that put back there. Big moments for that young man. And now a steal. Nice hands there by Moyaki. And tell you that kid's going to be really, really good.
Yeah. You know, it's one of those things. I wanted to talk to Coach Cuff. We ran out of time and just ask him, what does it say about the talent level of Noah Moyaki that he starts as a freshman for this team?
Right.
And he's a big kid, too. I think he's listed like 6'4". Foul here called on Moyaki. Second.
You know, it's interesting. Coach Blanchard can tell you how fun it is to have a freshman point guard that gets to come up in your program and be your guy. That was Preston Sanchez.
Yeah.
Little different circumstance. I remember doing a playing game, Preston Sanchez, his freshman year. They got into the state tournament. And when Coach Blanchard was just getting this program turned around. And for 4 years, he got him and got to a state championship game. And it is always a positive thing if you get a point guard as a freshman.
I would say that this is the program that Preston built, Dusty.
Absolutely. Preston was the initial guy. And his senior year, that was a fun team. If they had ran into Yoli Childs in the championship game, it would have been a different story.
That shot no good. Put back no good. Cuff. Third time's a charm. 8 points now for Tanner.
That possession is what this game's all about. You stick with it. You stick with it. And right now for Copper Hills, look, this is what that whole first half is about. Remember we talked about it. Get as big of a pad as you can get, because AF's going to make that run. Then what are you going to do from there?
Extra pass to Alfrey, try and baseline, and that's a block. A charge. Wow. I didn't think that Stewart got there in time. A charge on Alfrey, and number 4 now on Trevin.
Wait. It's a tough one because Trevin comes down the baseline, and he does have to come back toward the middle of the floor, and that's where Stewart's standing. Block charge, you know, for me is really, really difficult. And that's now number 4 on Trevin Alfrey. And but a tough one at that.
From my perspective, I didn't think he got there, but official on the floor, and both of them were very quick looking to go the other way, so we'll give credit, multiple eyes right there, but that was one that from my perspective I don't quite know that I saw it the same way. Here's Johnson, pull up. tied up. The deficit was as big as what, 13?
Yeah.
And a 19-7 third quarter has us locked up with 30 seconds left.
Well, talk about the different benches, right? First half talked about every possession Copper Hills is together. Right now, it's AF side. Uncle Mo is now sitting on the right side of the floor of your screen. And great decision here by Coach Blanchard. No shot clock in Utah High School basketball. They got it with about 30 seconds left or so. There's no reason not to get the last shot here.
All free. Baseline, and Cuff picks it off. Wisely just chucks it down the floor. It's going to preempt any shot from Copper Hills. Big Mo's in the building. He switched the bench. We're in red now. Copper Hills and American Fork tied up at 42. The fourth quarter coming up next here on live.ksl and deseretnews.com.
We've got 8 minutes, maybe even longer, to decide who's going to go to the semifinal. Will it be Copper Hills? Will it be American Fork? Let's find out.
Start of the third quarter, and our thanks. We've had a couple of viewers reach out to us and let us know that technical foul was assessed. Johnson staring down, taunting at a Copper Hills player. And Dustin, we were talking, I think I was so confused about whether the ball actually went in or not, because I really couldn't tell which side of the rim it came down on, that we must have just missed it. Our thanks to our viewership for helping us to understand that.
And that's why we asked, because I've got out of the business and just absolutely blasting officials immediately without having to take a look at some stuff. And so appreciate the outreach and letting us know. And because, yeah, you're right. When he dunked, I was like, wait, did he make it? Or was that out of bounds?
I legitimately could not tell. As a foul here on the drive from Hoffman going to be called on Smith. Second personal here on McKay.
And to belabor the point, I also looked at the scoreboard trying to see if they counted the points because I couldn't remember what the score was.
Yeah.
But thank you for reaching out and letting us know.
So it'll be Kyle Hoffman to the line here. Mentioned the good first round game he had. And the first one won't go down.
Right now, Copper Hill's playing a little tight. A little tight. You play really loose. When things start going up, you can play really loose. And right now, everything means a lot. Has AF been able to battle back in this game? It was interesting. We talked with Coach Smith before that East game yesterday, and I talked to him about, hey, you guys fall down, what do you think? He goes, yeah, every game. I told him every game today, this team, one of the teams have fallen down by double-digit points. What are you going to be able to do? He goes, oh, that's a big question. And I'm impressed that AF, they've been able to bounce back.
This ball tapped around into Copper Hills. They've got an outlet up ahead. Detling, too strong. And then an offensive foul here going to be called on American Fork. Johnson going to pick up his second, two quick ones here in the quarter on Isaac.
Bringing this up again, I'm surprised Coach Cuff and his staff hasn't seen it. Johnson in that high post, he's got to give ground. If the top two defenders are there, it's just throwing some things off. That offensive foul there is kind of interesting, but Copper Hill's missing bunnies. Detling's going to have nightmares about that layup tonight. If he hits a three, he'll sleep a little better.
Johnson out of the game right now, and again, that paint opens up. Is this an opportunity for the drive to get going? As Allfree missed the shot, and it'll stay here as both Cuff and Smith were there for AF and out off of the Cavemen.
Love the guts, Trevin Allfree. just continuing to go. He got 4 fouls. But as he knows, pain heals, chicks dig scars, but glory lasts forever. He's able to pull this one off, as the great Shane Flacco once said.
That is a great line, by the way. As a turnover here from Copper Hills. Trey Stewart up the floor, right hand
nice
finish. The future Wolverine now with 12 points to lead the way for American Fork.
Trey Stewart is so good.
Yeah, he is.
He is so good.
Entry for Allfree. Off the glass, can't get it to go. Tip up, Allfree still battling it around. And how about Trevin? And then we got a foul on Trevin, and that's going to be it for Trevin Allfree. 5th foul for Trevin, and a young man in the 1,000-point club at Copper Hills. Multi-year starter for Coach Blanchard, playing on a bum ankle tonight, has just fouled out.
And for us, he was our 6A Player of the Year last year. It almost feels like watching, I mean this, because we've covered him for so long. It's like watching a nephew walk off the floor. And a tough way to get that 5th foul, too. Hustling. You're hustling on a bum wheel. And to pick up the foul that way. And I think one of the hard things, and maybe the good things, is sitting next to his papa on the bench. But he needs his teammates to hold on here, to come back in this game, battle to get him another one, and a chance to continue to play for Copper Hills.
You know, and in the first half, it was his teammates that carried the load. As that free throw no good from Smith. They had 35 points at half, and Trevin only had 5 of them. Only had 7 in this ball game. So it has been the rest of the group getting the job done, but now they've got to do it with him off the floor. We talked at halftime. I almost wondered if him on the floor in that first half in the corner, open up those lanes, really helped that offense. And now you don't have that for Copper Hills, but you see still spread out here. And with 5:29 left, taking time off the clock, and understandably so.
Well, if I'm Coach Cuff, I'm coming after it. And not because I don't want them to take the clock down.
About speeding it up.
Well, there's no Trevin Allfree. You're not going to be able to sit in the corner anymore, because now you're not worried about the corner. We're not worried about Trevin. We're going to come off. We're not going to meet you at the rim.
Take to the rim and draw on the contact. McKay Smith might pick this up. It'll be his 3rd, if it is indeed on McKay, and yes, it is.
Yeah, there's no doubt on that one. Nice take and drive by Hoffman. His brother Trevor was on that team with Preston Sanchez. One of Charlie Olson, Preston Sanchez, Stockton Shorts. Got Trevin Allfree got the state championship game 3 years ago.
First free throw, good. Dusty, here's a remarkable thing. That was just the 9th point for Copper Hills in the second half. You think back to that first half, Detling had 6, Bush had 8, Hutchings had 8. Hutchings has 4 points in the second half, Kyle with 3 in the second half, and Bush with 1 in the second half. And that's all the scoring that's been for Copper Hills over the last 10 minutes. As we have another stoppage and redo here from the bench, or at the table, I should say.
Execution. It's the name of the game right now. As for American Fork, it's continue to get shots near the rim. The 3 has helped them a lot, but it's not what's going to help them close this game out.
Here's Cuff. Out to Moiaki, corner 3. Tapped out by Trey, but it'll go out of play.
Now you're seeing right now, AF they're not comfortable in that half-court set. That ball's got to move, and it's got to look, and you're in that fast break mode. That ball is moving around, and it's half-court set. Wait till you see Davis. When Davis is playing at their best, it is some of the best ball movement in the state.
A lot of stagnant feet on that end for American Fork, because the dual possession here, maybe have a foul before that. Oh, a timeout. Timeout taken by Coach Blanchard. Full timeout. We'll take it with him. 4:40 left here in regulation.
Watch a replay of today's game live anytime at live.KSLN.com. WATCHit.com.
Again, Dana and I are always brought to you by Tosh Orthopedic Specialty Hospital. We want to thank Heidemann Associates for teaming up with us this week and sponsoring the scoreboard. Again, if you got any legal help needs, if it's drafting your will, take care of your estate planning, take care of your business, a personal injury, anything going on that you need help with on a legal side, Heidemann Associates are there for you. Give them a call, 801-472-7742.
American Fork picking up the defensive pressure.
Yeah, they got to pick up the pressure in Copper Hills. And we're in bonus, by the way. Both teams 7 team fouls each.
Drive off the glass and a great finish by Kyle Hoffman. Is a little too late. Trey Stewart was trying to come on the help and back the other way. Trey with a bucket and a timeout for American Fork.
What a take and finish by Trey Stewart. And still haven't seen full
timeout. We'll be back. .402 left here in the fourth quarter. Copper Hills basketball leading American Fork by 1. They led this game by as many as 13 back in that first half. American Fork in the second half has looked like the Region 4 version of American Fork. Able to come all the way back. I don't think they've taken the lead, have they?
Oh, they did. It took a lead
okay.
for a moment. Yep.
Okay, all right.
Got a little bit of seesaw since that point.
Another drive here, tried to kick it out, but no one there, and it's American Fork off and running. Trey gets locked up top of the paint, and Trey Stewart will head to the line here for 1-and-1. Foul on Hoffman.
Nice take. Trey Stewart starting to really assert himself here in the fourth quarter, and a good thing.
Yeah, they've certainly needed him. Their leading scorer today. And good on the first free throw.
Need him as Isaac's been a little off today.
With that said, Isaac had 9 points in the third. Really helped lead that charge back. Hasn't scored here in the fourth, as that has been Trey Stewart's job. He has all 6 for American Fork in the fourth quarter as they retake the lead here by 1.
It'll be interesting to see what Coach Blanchard decides to do. He spread out this floor, and there it goes again. This is the same look they went with in the first half.
Collapsing down, and the little float there by Kyle Hoffman, who has 7 here in the fourth, 15 in the contest. And a foul here. Oh, this is on the floor.
And the next level hits a +1.
Yes, it is. Kyle Hoffman going to pick it up. That's the second on Hoffman.
Yeah, that Copper Hills offense, that's the old Mark Dubois offense
Yep.
at the end of games. And funny enough, against AF, those were the most memorable one, that Pendleton dunk.
The last 1-and-1 opportunity, and Trey able to hit the first one. We got a second one coming up here. So we're tied up again. You mentioned, Dusty, just not long ago, Trey Stewart, how good he is, and about 4 pressure-packed free throws there for AF and able to hit them all.
Yeah, 17 points on the afternoon for Trey Stewart, leading all scorers. Right now for AF, it's who's going to come help off the ball.
And a travel. I missed that one.
Yeah, I think I missed a few things today. So Coach Blanchard missed it as well, but big opportunity here for American Fork, who's trailed most of today. And now they want to go a little spread you out. I don't know that, and here's what you wanted right here.
Stewart tried to give it off to Franson, but a foul instead on the drive here. And guess who's going back to the line?
Trey Stewart go back to the line, double bonus free throws. That's one of those ones they first blew the whistle, and Trey had gotten rid of that pass. That kind of held my breath for a moment on one of those, the charge call after the pass is gone.
And the junior, Kylan Shorts, is now fouled out. That was his 5th personal. So all free out of the game, and now Shorts out of the game.
So it wasn't a travel there, it was a carry.
Oh, okay.
But
I thought he signaled travel.
I thought he did too, but I just got a couple people texting me saying it was a carry.
You know, in fairness to Dusty and I, this is our 23rd game in 5 days.
Yeah, since Friday.
Yeah. And it's an early start after a bunch of late nights. So appreciate your patience with us as we get back in basketball mode here as Trey Stewart hits the first 9 points in the quarter now for Trey. Make it 10.
Well, with great response from American Fork here in the fourth quarter, Dane. And, you know, here's the thing. Number one, we learned a couple of things. Number one, Copper Hills and Andrew Blanchard is a terrific coach. He understands, he knows his team, and he understands to put a game plan together. Because coming in today, if Trevin Alfrey's not at 100% or not going to go, immediately you think, okay, AF's going to come in and run away with this thing. But Coach Blanchard, a great motivator. He's ultra competitive, but what a game plan today to help his Copper Hills Grizzlies build a lead and be in this ball game against American Fork, one of the top 2 teams in the state.
I completely agree. And Dusty, I mean, we were talking, and I was talking with people, and I was like, gosh, if Trevin's not 100%, I think this is a tough matchup with a healthy Alfrey. And if he's not 100%, I don't know how Copper Hills is able to keep up scoring with American Fork, and they've done just that. And you could see Trevin was not 100%. Now, is he 80, 90? I mean, I don't know. But you could see he was not 100% today. And the game plan that Coach Blanchard had, I mean, is giving them. They still have an extremely good opportunity in this game and a shot to pull off a huge win here to launch them to the semis.
The way they have moved the ball, easily get an open look at 3 if that's what they want, as Detling had hit those in the first half, him and Stone Hutchings.
That's exactly what they dial up. Front of the rim, won't go down. Offensive rebound. How good has Kyle Hoffman been today? He goes in amongst the trees and able to yank down the offensive rebound.
You got to have, you know, we always say football Johnny. You got to have some basketball Johnny. You got to have a guy that just cares about his teammates and willing to do whatever he needs to do. And that's been Hoffman in this second half.
You know, how great has this been? Okay, so first of all, that's the 4th foul on Trey Stewart. That's a big call. Number 4 on the leading score for American Fork. There have been 2 players score in the fourth quarter. Trey Stewart has all 10 for AF. Kyle Hoffman has all 7 for Copper Hills. There's 1-and-1 here for Kyle. It's the first.
That's a great stat. And Hoffman is someone that just fills his role and goes and does stuff. I mean, get that offensive board there is big, knocks down the first.
one of two, and the length of Johnson able to pull in the rebound as Hoffman trying to just annoy Isaac. As he'll peel off now.
Well, see Cuthbert to get on his little giddy up just for get it across the timeline there.
Moeaki passes back out here with McKay Smith, and do we see American Fork employ the same strategy? Certainly looks like it. A lob for Franson, and Franson, yeah. Hoffman jumping into him, that's a pretty easy call. And now Hayden Franson going to go to the line, and the positive thing here for your Copper Hills is it's not Trey.
Right. As Trey Stewart's taking control, so now Franson is shooting at this open end of the floor.
You know, and I know that you're down 2, and points the most important thing, make that down 3 now. I mean, if you're Copper Hills, do you go right at Trey Stewart and try to have him pick up his 5th foul?
He's on the floor.
That'll prevent that strategy, eh?
You can just spread it back out and go after it, but actually Trey's going to come back in if he makes it.
See, I could tell. Fortune. Like, I just...
You and Coach Cuff, that's telepathy. Well, it's going to be a matter who he has, is right now Stewart is going to be in the corner here with Gardner. Or pardon me, with
Butler. Butler got the edge. Didn't feel comfortable with it. Maybe he had an opportunity as Johnson was behind him. Johnson able to poke it away. And a foul here on Butler, going to send Trey back to the line. 1:34 left, and boy, if Trey hits these, that might be enough.
Might be enough, but it'll get Copper Hills into playing a little bit faster. As Coach Blanchard looking at me and say, go lay it up. Gardner had a layup there, would have made a 2-point game.
I don't know if he just didn't quite know how close Johnson was to him as Trey hits the first or what, but you could certainly see he did not feel comfortable in the situation and ended up passing out of it. Second here from Trey, good as well.
We got to be quick possession here for Copper Hills.
Nice screen, Hoffman.
Nice.
Able to get it to Stone Hutchings, the first non-Kyle Hoffman player for Copper Hills to score here in the fourth. 56-52, 126 left. We'll be back after this.
Full timeout taken by the Grizzlies.
.126 left, American Fork ball, 56-52, Cavemen. Trying to punch a ticket to the state semifinal. Again, the winner of this game will take on the winner of our next game, Kearns and Davis. Should be a good one coming up as well. As Cuff able to dribble past a couple of Grizzlies right to the rack, Tanner Cuff.
Great read by Tanner. And a little bit of help there to Copper Hills. Didn't take a lot of time off the clock. But if I'm AF, I just want to keep scoring.
Yep. Nice move. Able to get past Cuff as Bush able to lay it in. 11 points now for Tyler. But that defense for Copper Hills got to do some work here. I'd foul Moeaki. There it is. Get the freshman to the line and maybe hope that some of that unfamiliarity in the state tournament for the young man comes through for the jerseys in white. But regardless, AF going to have a chance to win this game from the line. First free throw here for the freshman, good.
What a big game for Moyaki. I know that's only 6 points, but he scored big buckets, made nice defensive plays. He had his moments. It's not his job as a freshman to be the leader on this team, to do lots of things. It's to fill his role, and he's done it very, very well.
Second one short. 1 of 2 on the trip for Moyaki. Is that the first free throw missed by IF in this fourth quarter?
If I can recall, yeah.
Remember the first half, they did not shoot well from the line at all. But a good response for the group for Coach Cuff. 35 seconds left here. A drive, tough finish for Detling as he draws the contact. The foul called here on Franson, first on Hayden. And Copper Hills to the line here.
Well, the Grizzlies only have 1 timeout left. And remember, the clock will not stop inside of a minute on a made bucket.
Detling, first free throw, good.
So it's going to be a matter of, can you find someone who misses 2 free throws? We need to make the second one. You got to find someone who's going to miss 2 free throws or get a steal and get a shot at 3 to tie it.
We'll see if Coach Blanchard watched the Alta game yesterday. They were in a similar situation. They had a chance to win it.
And Coach Barker played that very, very well.
There's a foul here. He's going to send Trey Stewart to the line. Hutchings picks up his third.
Put Moyaki at the line.
You know, I was doing so well. I started the game off rocky. Did pretty well in the second and third and for most of the fourth, and it'll be the freshman back who just went 1 of 2. First free throw, Moyaki, too strong.
Well, the youngster leaving the door open. Remember yesterday that you mentioned that Alta game, had a shot at the horn to win. They played out similarly. They got to box out and get this rebound.
Second free throw, good touch there from Manoa. And a timeout taken here by American Fork, 60-56. 28 seconds left, full timeout. We'll be back with the conclusion after this.
Utah High School Activities Association is proud to use products from Wilson Sporting Goods. For athletes to perform their best, they require the best, and that's what Wilson has delivered for over 100 years. Learn more at Wilson.com.
.28 seconds left here in our fourth quarter. Copper Hills basketball, and American Fork had a little pressure on the inbound. Now they'll back off. Here's Kyle Hoffman, 16 points for Hoffman today. And just gave it away. Now you got a foul. Hand off to Cuff, but they will get Moyaki. Boy, that's a tough one, huh? They're trying to get it back to Tyler Bush for a straightaway 3, and it just slipped out of the hands of Hoffman.
Yeah, that's going to make you. This makes you feel sick for the junior. I mean, no one feels worse right now than number 2.
Yeah. I wonder if there's a discussion about an intentional foul.
Well, that's what Coach Cuff's saying.
I mean, the ball's away from Moyaki, but I think it's in relatively soon enough that I would just call it a common. But
well, let's try to keep it away from being a hack-a-shack kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, and I think one of the things we've talked about is, you know, officials are trying to keep the rule of the law, right? Like,
yep.
What does the rule book say, and what does it classify? And they will just go common here. 2 free throws coming up from Moyaki.
And that's a heads-up play by Copper Hills.
Yeah.
All right, go put the player at the line and split the last 2, the last 4.
No, I love that response. Seriously?
And not quite
Second try, no able to hit it. 8 points now from Oyaki as Copper Hill's up the floor quickly. Now you got to take a three. There it is, no good, and the rebound is to Tanner Cuff and a foul here. Boy, you got to be careful as the whole American bench and half the fans stood up wanting a call. And, you know, how about the composure of Cuff?
Yeah.
To just get up, not worry about it.
Hey, you got to shake it.
Yep.
They've all been frustrated. Detling was frustrated. I don't think it's one of those things you do it and you're like, what did I just do? And it's a momentary thing. 17, 18-year-old kids. Just stay calm.
And they did call a technical.
Yeah.
I never saw the sign.
Kind of I've been done after.
I don't have a problem with it, right?
Yeah.
I really don't have a problem with it. I just never saw the official call, and it will be Cuff here. So they call an intentional.
But good on Cuff to stay calm. It's kind of more of his demeanor anyway.
Yeah, it is. And, you know, I mean, you think back to the second half, and it has gotten a little chippy. I mean, we talked about the all-free, and, you know, right after he tweaked that ankle, Johnson took a spill. And, you know, we've seen the physicality in this game, particularly in the second half, really amp up. It'd be so easy for a player to lose their mind in that type of a situation, get up and go after and, you know, create a stir. Good job by the young man Cuff, who has 2 free throws here. The first one.
Well, and Copper Hills, too, just to stay calm as well. I mean, definitely, you feel like your season's gone. It means it's over. And it's your senior year. I mean, all that stuff goes to your head at that moment.
So American Fork basketball, this lead pushed up to 6 now. Wouldn't be surprised to see Copper Hills foul here, and that was the signal from Coach Blanchard. It's still just a 2-possession game. But with 10.9 seconds left, Dusty, we talked about running clock. This one really just delaying the start of our next one.
Yep.
At this point. They'll get that inbounded to Stewart, and the foul on the inbound. So Trey will have a chance to continue to add to his stellar day. I've got him with 22 points. The scoreboard has 21. I think I'm accurate. There was an opportunity earlier where a free throw for Trey, I think, got credited to Hayden Franson on the board. Not take anything away from the senior Franson, but the senior Stewart's been good. Plus, he's got a great last name. 13 for Trey here in the fourth.
And spelled correctly.
Yes, it is.
And this UART stuff.
And how about the class of Trey in the state this year? Talked about that yesterday. Trey Stewart goes 1 of 2, and a 3 here from Detling is good as the horn sounds. Well, boy, they trailed early, and maybe for Coach Cuff, that's exactly what you need, something to help keep your troops dialed in and focused in this state tournament. American Fork comes back 63-59. They defeat Copper Hills and advance to the semifinal. Dusty, your final thoughts on the player of the game.
Good on Copper Hills. I thought a great effort, great job by AF coming back and battling this game. What a great way to start today's coverage. And player of the game, Trey Stewart. Trey stepped up and did what he needed to do and helped American Fork get a win.
Big game today for Trey Stewart. Congratulations to him and to American Fork. 63-59 over Copper Hills. The Cavemen advance to the state semifinal. For Vince Francis, Dusty Litster, my name is Dane Stewart. Thanks for joining us. We've got our next quarterfinal coming up. Davis and Kearns. That game set to tip in just about 15 minutes. We'll see you then here live from the D-Event Center in the quarterfinals of the 6A state tournament on live.ksl and DeseretNews.com.